Why don't we come onto our backs to begin? And feel free to bend your legs if your back is happier that way. You can even have your knees out or in if you like, or just having your legs straight is great. Whatever feels best for you. And let's start today with one hand on the belly and one hand on the chest. Kind of a refresher for our three-part breath. And if you're able to close the eyes or feel comfortable doing so, you can do that now. And if not, just take your gaze onto one spot and just rest there. You might initially just feel how the breath comes to you naturally without trying. And then start to deepen the breath so that you feel the belly swelling underneath the palm of the hand that's on the belly. And then we'll just let that deflate as we exhale. And then on this next breath, we'll breathe into the belly and then fill the space between the hands, feeling the ribs expanding and then shrinking, belly relaxing. And then finally, breathing into the belly, breathing into the ribs, and then breathing into the hand that's on the chest. See if you can feel the breath across the entire hand. Let the exhale come out slowly from the chest to the belly. And then you might release your hands and continue as though your hands were still there, still breathing into the belly, into the ribs, and into the chest. If you feel like doing that, maybe you lose touch with one of those three parts, you can return your hands as an aid to reconnecting. And then lift your feet off the ground so that the knees are over the hips. Press the small of your back into the ground. And then lower the feet down, touching the heels, keeping the lower back pressed into the ground, and then lifting back up. So you'll notice how when you lower your feet down, your lower back, if you're not efforting to counter that, will want to arch off the ground. So you're going to pull your belly down to push your low back into the floor as the feet come down. Now for me, it feels easiest to inhale as I lower and to exhale as I come up. That inhale kind of supports me, but see what works for you, coordinating the breath with the movement. And just one more. And then hug the knees to the chest. Exhale and empty out the belly and bring the knees in to that hollowed space. And then send the legs straight up in the air. And initially, we'll hold on to the legs and just point and flex several times, just to give a little stretch to the back of the legs and make it a little easier to keep them lifted here. And then you can let the feet relax and release the hands. Now we're going to curl the head up, lift the arms, and then pulse upward toward the right foot. So the breath is faster because we're still coordinating the breath with the movement. And the movement is obviously faster than the normal breath cycle that we do. And I'm exhaling as I reach up. That seems to be what's most organic for me. See if that's true for you. It doesn't have to be. And if your neck gets tired, you can bring one hand behind your head to support your head and reach the other arm across. And then we're going to switch and go over to the left leg. Two more. And release down. Hug the knees in. And then bring the feet onto the ground. Bring the palms onto the ground beside the hips. And lift the hips up. And just breathe into your belly. You can maybe roll your shoulders underneath you. We're not worried so much here about doing the fullest bridge that we can do. We're really just helping the breath open up the belly. And then lower the spine back down. up again. Curl the head up again. Take the arms out past your thighs. And we're going to go from side to side, reaching, 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 reaching. So I'm doing a rapid breath and I'm exhaling with each reach, but you can do a slower breath. These rapid breaths, as you probably know, tend to be more heat producing, which may be welcome on a day like today. Two more each side. And relax down, hug the knees in again. And then lower the feet so that they're under the knees. Bring the palms down besides the hips. And again, push into the feet and curl your spine up. Roll your shoulders under so you're on your shoulders and not your neck. You might find yourself pushing into your arms to lift higher. You might press your tailbone and knees away from you. Then lift your chest toward your face. Slow, deep breaths, filling this open space that's created by this bridge posture. That same three-part breath that we started with. And then slowly lay your spine back down. Lift your feet again, this time bringing your hands inside your thighs to reach around the bottoms of your feet and lift your feet up. Try to get them over your knees. Tuck your chin down toward your chest. Take a deep, slow inhale. On the exhale, relax the backs of the shoulders toward the ground. Just work with the breath, filling it into the body as much as it'll go. Emptying it out slowly and relaxing with the exhale. And then open the legs out to the side, bringing the hands to support the thighs from above or below, flexing the feet, reaching out through the heels, pulling the toes toward the knees. Same deep, full breath. And then lift the legs straight up. Bring your hands under your lower back and slowly lower the legs to the ground. With a nice, slow, long, even breath. And then when they get just about to the ground, but not quite, you can hold there. Breathing into your belly. And then release the legs down. Release your hands. Shake the legs out. And draw the knees in and bring your hands to your knees. We're going to rock lengthwise on our spine, but we're going to rotate in a circle as we rock. When you get back to your starting point, reverse directions. Good. And when you come back up, balance here on your sit bones. Start with the hands behind the backs of the thighs and pull the hands toward you to help bring your ribs and chest forward. Roll your shoulders back and down. Drop your chin a little bit. Lift the feet to the height of the knees. And then if you want, you can release your hands. If you want, you can straighten your legs. If you want, the hands can come up. That makes it harder. Breathe slow and long. You may find yourself trembling. Just stay with it. Good. And release down. Bring the arms down. And we'll just pull the flesh of the buttocks back behind the sit bones. Flex the feet. And sit up nice and tall, resting the hands on the ground. Just in a simple seated staff pose. Engaging the legs, relaxing the head and neck and the shoulders. Beautiful. And then inhale the left arm up. Exhale and reach it over either for the right foot, or if you don't reach the foot, just your leg is fine. Maybe you can bend your knee to reach the foot, but better to have the leg straight and reach elsewhere. And then lift the leg up. And then bring the right arm up behind you, and then turn and look at your right thumb. And then pull your right leg over toward the left. And come back around to the front. Release your hand and then slowly lower the leg down. Sitting up nice and tall, right arm reaches up. Exhale, bring it to the outer left leg or the foot if you reach the foot, and lift the leg. Get tall through your head, lengthen your spine. Left arm comes up and back. Looking back at your left hand, steering your leg to the right. And come back around to the front. Release the hand and slowly lower the leg. Beautiful. Sit up nice and tall, flexing the feet, bringing the big toes together with the heels apart so that the outer edges of the feet are parallel to each other. Inhale, reach up, get long through the spine. Press the legs down into the ground and exhale over the legs. As you inhale, push the legs down and lengthen the head toward the toes. As you exhale, scoop the lower belly in. With each inhale, lengthen the spine. With each exhale, relax. Find the length of your breath. How much can you breathe in? How long can you breathe out? And then on your next inhale, roll yourself up, reaching up. And exhale the hands to the ground behind you. Fingers will point forward. And then spiral your hands in opposite directions to roll your shoulder blades in and open your chest out. And then I'll give you two options. The first one is to stay with your legs straight, to lift up and press your feet down, drop your head back, lift your hips and your chest. The second one is a bit easier, and that's to bend your knees and do the same thing with your feet under your knees. Good. And then I'll give you another couple of options, which is slow, deep breathing or breath of fire. And slowly release down. Lift the legs. Lean back, bring the arms forward. And again, either slow, deep breathing or breath of fire. Just sit yourself back up. Let's take a moment here, letting the breathing slow down if you were doing rapid breath. The belly softening. And then cross the feet at the ankles and flip over your feet onto hands and knees. So, giving you options again, you can do a simple cow and cat. Inhaling, curling the tailbone and head up. Exhaling, curling the tailbone and head down. Or you can bring your hands in front of you, spread the fingers, curl the toes. Exhale, push into downward dog. Inhale, roll over the tops of the feet and come into upward dog. And if you wish, instead of just moving from upward dog to downward dog, if you're interested in that variation, you can inhale into plank, exhale into chaturanga, hovering over the ground, then coming into upward dog from there, and then downward dog from there. Final variation, sorry to give you so many options, but I know everybody has a different interest in how they want to practice. You can do inhale upward, inhale plank, exhale chaturanga, inhale upward dog, and then exhale back into chaturanga and push into your downward dog from there. Makes it a little bit harder for those who like that sort of thing. Feel free to just take a very simple approach, because really we're just warming up the spine, so however you do that works great. And then we'll all come into downward dog. So if you're doing a version that includes downward dog, just stop when you get there. And if you're doing one of the other versions, on your next exhale, join us in downward dog. Press into the fingers, descend the hips back, press the thighs back, press the heels down, roll the shoulders down the back and drop the head, sink the chest, and reconnect with your three-part breath. On your next inhale, lift the left leg and look forward. Exhale, step the foot up between the hands. Bring the back heel down onto the ground. Lead with your right arm coming forward, windmilling yourself all the way up into warrior two. Front knee is bent deeply, but you're not leaning into the front leg. Your weight is balanced between both feet. And you might close your eyes and really check in with your feet to see if there feels like weight is equally in both feet. And then maybe sinking down a little bit more. Roll the belly to the right and the head to the left, looking past your left hand. Roll your inner thighs out, tucking your tailbone under. And then roll your belly and chest to the front, taking the arms out. And then bring your right hip forward and lift the arms up. Inhale and lift up into your heart. Exhale, tailbone under you. Keep pressing back into your right foot. Press your right thigh back to ground into that foot. And while you're pressing that thigh back, you're still pressing that hip forward. You're feeling the breath rising up as you inhale and lowering down as you exhale. Beautiful. Now take the back foot forward just a little bit. Take your gaze down to the ground and start to hinge forward, keeping on your back toes until you can't anymore, and then lift the back leg. Lower the back foot down, bring the hands to the ground. Heel toe that left foot a little bit over to the left some more. Lower your hands to the ground if you can. And walk the hands back so that your shoulder and your knee are touching. Good. And then drop your hips, bring lots of weight into your hands, and see if you can lift that left leg off the ground. Nice. Then send it back, coming into plank. And then roll over into upward dog onto the tops of your feet and push back into downward dog. Taking child's pose instead if you need the rest. If you're in child's pose, sorry, it's not much of a rest. Join us in downward dog again, please. And then on your next inhale, lift the right leg and look forward. Exhale, step the foot up between the hands. Back foot comes onto the ground at an angle. Left arm reaches forward, lifts up, windmilling all the way up into warrior two. Arms out to the side, bend deeply into the front knee. Get as low as you can go. And then roll your belly to the left, turn your head to the right, and spiral your inner thighs outward. Relax the shoulders down. And then we'll move from warrior two to warrior one, rotating the belly to face front, arms start out to the side. Press that left thigh back and really feel your left foot planting into the ground. And then bring your left hip forward, almost like you're trying to rotate your hips to the right. And then arms up, shoulders down, lift the chest. Breathe, belly, ribs, chest. Exhale, tailbone forward. Warrior one. Good. Now bring the back foot a little bit forward. Take your gaze to the ground. Start to hinge forward, coming onto your back toes. Keep hinging forward until you have to lift the back leg to go any further. And then lift it and try to get it so that it's parallel to the ground, with the torso also parallel to the ground. Warrior three. Slow, long breath. Lower the back foot down, bring the hands down. Heel toe that right foot over to the right. Walk your hands back, trying to bring your shoulder toward your right inner knee. And then really let your weight come down into your hands, let your hips sink like a plank, and then see if you can lift your right leg. And then send that leg back, coming into plank. Roll over onto the fronts of the feet, coming into upward dog, and we'll stay here. Roll the shoulders back. So if you're unable to be in upward dog, you can modify and bring the knees down, bring the pubic bone down, and come into cobra. But try not to do just halfway between the two, which means that the pubic bone is off the ground and the knees are on the ground. That's kind of not a good option. So pulling the ribs forward and the shoulders back. Deep breath. Good. And then we'll all bring the knees down and press back into mecha pose. Pushing forward with the hands, sending the hips back. And then bring the hands alongside the knees and flip over so that you're on the tops, the backs of the hands, and the palms are facing up. Bring the elbows in close to the body and roll the elbows back toward the heels, staying as best as you can on the outer hands, all the way to the wrists. And bring the arms forward again. Walk the arms over to the right. Right hand comes to the side, pushes into the ground, sending the left hip back, reaching out of the left hand. And then really see how much the breath can fill up the space between the left hip and the left hand. And then take it over to the other side, pressing the left hand into the ground beside you, sending those right hips back, reaching out the right hand, breathing long, slow, and deep. And then come back to center. Walk the hands in, rolling up, sitting on your feet. If the knees are not happy here in rock pose, then if you have a towel rolled up or a cushion, you can place that just right in the backs of the knees and then sit on that, and that should help the knees quite a bit. And if it's still not working for you, then just change your posture. Good. We'll take the arms up, curl the fingers in, extending out through the thumbs, and we'll begin breath of fire. So the belly snaps on the exhales, a real thrust, forcing the air out, and the inhale is kind of passive, and you want to go rapidly. And if you're comfortable closing your eyes, you can gaze at the point between your brows. Shoulders down. Inhale, bring the thumbs together, hold the breath, lift up from the perineum, the base of the spine, the floor of the belly, pushing the tongue up, pulling the chin in and pulling the throat up, rolling the eyes up, holding the breath, pressing everything up. When you need to exhale, we'll exhale out of the mouth in 3 parts. Ha, 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 folding over as you do it. Ha, ha, ha. With the chin to the chest, slowly roll yourself up. Again, if the sitting posture is not working for you, you can take a different position. So we may feel the energy that you've created in your body. And we'll just balance that energy out with some alternate nostril breathing. Bringing the first 2 fingers of either hand to the third eye, the point between the brows. And then bringing the thumb onto one nostril and the last 2 fingers onto the other nostril. Pressing in the thumb, sealing off that nostril. Inhale through the other side. And then seal off that side to exhale through the thumb side. Inhale through that side. Switching on each exhale. And release. Just feeling how you feel. Bring the hands to the ground, curl the toes under. Lift your knees and come all the way up to standing. If you know that you have difficulty with balance, then you might go and stand near a wall or something that you can use to steady yourself, because our next posture is a hip stretch, and it also happens to be a balance pose. But if you are struggling with the balance, you won't get the benefit of the hip stretch. So let go of the balance part and just do the hips with the rest of us. So we may begin by lifting our toes and spreading them wide and lowering them down, just to have a larger foundation to balance on. Maybe closing the eyes for a minute to really help bring the attention down into the feet and feel the legs and feet sinking into the earth. And then shift your weight into your left foot, noticing how heavy that left leg and foot become. And then bend the knees, maybe feeling the foot sinking even more. Steady, slow breath. See if you can maintain awareness of your breath, even as you open the eyes and softly gaze down. Maintaining full awareness of your breath. Bring your right ankle above your left knee. Bend the knee even deeper, and then tracing a line with your eyes toward your left foot, begin to fold forward over your leg. You can bring your right hand onto your knee and press that down to deepen the stretch. You can bring your hands to your calf. If you're struggling with the balance, but your hips are flexible enough to touch the floor, you can touch the floor. And slowly stand up, releasing the foot. Roll the shoulders up, back, and down. Close the eyes. Feel the breath. Feel the right foot sinking. Bend the knees, dropping down into the earth even more. Feeling the breath. See if you can maintain your attention inward on your breath even as your eyes are open, just looking at one spot in front of you. When you're ready, bring your left ankle above your right knee. Bend deeper into your knee, and then bring your gaze straight toward your right foot as you bend over as deeply as you can. Again, if you're struggling with the balance, then you might want to be holding on to something. If not, you can use that left hand at the left knee, or have the arms hang down, or maybe hold the shin or calf. If your balance is steady, you can practice possibly looking at your right foot, dropping your head even more. Keep lowering your chest toward your ankle. And then come to stand, release the foot, roll the shoulders, exhaling, dropping down. Close the eyes a moment. Just feeling breath, feeling both feet, feeling body. And then inhale the right arm up. Bring your left hand to your left hip and reach across. Take your gaze up. Deep breath. And inhale up. Exhale, arm down. Bring that right hand to the right hip. Bring the left arm up. Inhale. Exhale, hips left. Arm and head right. Gazing up. And inhale up. Exhale the arm down. Roll the shoulders one more time. Drop the chin to the chest. Bend the knees. And slowly roll yourself down. Coming all the way to your buttocks. And then all the way onto your back. Starting with bent knees, you lift and tuck your tailbone. Release the legs, shake them out. If you're using an eye pillow, you can place that on your eyes now. And then let the arms rest out to the side. Let the legs rest away from each other. Take a deep breath in. Exhale out of the mouth. Sink the weight of the body into the ground. Inhale deep. Exhale out of the mouth, releasing the jaw, lips slightly part, face relaxed. Inhale deep. Exhale out of the mouth, releasing the activity of the mind, letting your mind rest in the feel of your breath. Letting go of the breath, just letting breath breathe you. Just feeling where the breath goes, letting it be as it is. Become interested in the breath, not to judge it, just to connect with it. Letting go of the body, breath, thoughts, deeply relaxed. Letting go, letting go, letting go. into your heart. Move fingers and toes. Reach the arms overhead. Take a deep breath. Stretch long. Hug the knees to the chest and rock side to side. Feeling the ground massaging your